Slow and easy, one step at a time. You got great control.
He's regarded as the most experienced livestock judge in the country.
Yeah, and we look in here and we look at levelness from top all the way back to the tail. This pig's terrific.
And the leading advocate for Kentucky agriculture for generations.
Really, really good hogs.
But for all he knows about farming and farm animals,
see how expressive and how round and how wide he walks and stands behind?
To know Warren Beeler.
Did you do any good?
Somewhat. I got 10 for him.
Good, that's great. That's good.
That's right.
Is to know how he relates to people.
Warren? Like that. How about you?
He just relates to people so well. He's caring. He's so caring that he makes you feel at home whether you know him or not.
Yeah.
Love you to death. You know that.
You too.
You bet. You bet. Yep.
That's where Warren really shines. He's very personable. Kids flock to him. He loves them. And through that, he's able to impart to them just some life skills that stay with them forever.
Life skills and lessons learned growing up in tiny Spring Lick, Kentucky.
Which is not far from Caneyville. Caneyville's got a four-way stop, Spring Lick doesn't. I'm the oldest of 6. I got two brothers and 3 sisters, and all of us went to college. It's pretty amazing. We're off a dairy farm. My dad milked for 41 years, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I was really blessed to have parents that loved me enough to make me work and make me mind. I went to work every morning before I went to school. I went to the barn and feed 22 bucket calves, and none of them had a tag in their ear. I didn't get the milking started, and then my dad would come over and start milking. I'd go get ready for school. And so today that'd be child abuse. Back then, that was just, I'm thankful for it.
And anyone who grows up on a dairy farm knows how to work.
And then when I went on to college at Western, Dr. Gordon Jones was my mentor there.
And I remember when Warren was a freshman, he came to me and said, Dr. Jones, I got to have a job. We don't have enough money. I need to make some money.
He was the most special teacher I ever had. He taught in a way where you didn't memorize it, you learned it.
Not many people probably know this about Warren, but when he first finished the university, his first job was being a field man for the American Yorkshire Club.
Never had swine production, never been around it hardly at all, and he gave me a 2-hour crash course, and none of it stuck. But the man that interviewed me didn't ask me about the swine industry. He asked me about family, and he asked me about people. And
so he really became a great pig man then.
I was visiting 5 or 6 hog farmers a day. We were doing 200 sales for breeding stock a year, and so it was a great way to learn.
In 1981, after a couple of years on the road, Warren found himself back at WKU, running the L.D. Brown Expo Center.
There were some girls we were working on the farm, and he was our boss.
I was 26 or 7 years old, and
I was a student, and he had already graduated.
By the time classes resumed in the fall, Warren and Dee Dee were dating.
So my parents were not terribly excited about that, but once they met him, they soon realized why I was so taken with Warren Beeler.
1 year after they met, Warren and Dee Dee tied the knot.
I way out punted my coverage there.
Warren went back to work, promoting the Hampshire Swine Registry.
He started a national show for the youth, and that was the forerunner of our National Junior Swine Association.
As the first time he took me to our farm in Caneyville, it was like we were driving off the end of the earth. I was a Louisville city girl, and he was from Caneyville, and we went back a long, long gravel road to the middle of nowhere, and that was going to be our farm and our life together, but it was wonderful.
And I farmed for 20 years there in the pig business, and I wasn't in the pig business to scrape pins or for the stink. I was in the business of trying to make a good one.
There we raised our children on the farm. We were with them together all the time. Our vacations consisted of going to hog shows and spending the night in a motel, which was a treat for the kids.
Dad is a great dad. He taught us to be very competitive. He taught us to be kind and good and to always try our best.
You know, the dirtier we got, the harder we worked. It's kind of the theory with the kids, and then we get to throwing tails at each other, and one would go to the house and tell on me, and one would pick up one and throw back at me. So it was different, but it was a tough way to make a living, but it was an absolutely wonderful way to raise a family.
Dad was very caring, very compassionate. He was busy working all the time, but he never missed a ball game or a cross-country race. He made time for all of our sports. We spent a lot of Saturdays in gyms playing basketball and running races, and he made sure to make time for us and his career as well.
The Beeler children shared their dad with kids at livestock shows across the country.
That's where his heart is, that's where his passion is, and that's how I first met him.
Now, I'm not bragging because he's one of my former students, but Warren Beeler is the most popular pig judge in the country.
Warren loves all the kids, but when he sees the animal, he's going to put it exactly where it needs to be. So he just has that kind of integrity, and everybody knows he does. So nobody ever questions when he places animals that this is how I think it needs to be done, regardless of who the owner is.
What is all this?
Thank you, dear. I appreciate it.
I lost my dad at a young age, and Warren kind of filled that role. See, I thought I was going to cry. Warren is just a true gentleman. You know, Warren is, he loved my kids. When people love your kids, it's easy to love them back, and Warren loves everybody's kids, you know, so personally, he was a role model for me. My students can quote Warren Beeler, like he'll say, we're not raising livestock on the farm, we're raising kids, you know. I mean, they can quote him.
And at one point, the hog market got bad, and Warren realized he needed to get another job.
And Dee Dee is always, she's always right. She said, you got to get a real job.
The adversity that prompted Warren's career change was not his greatest challenge.
Life's not been fair to us a little bit in my family. You know, we had 5 children. We might have had 20 if it hadn't been for our youngest one born severely handicapped. And when we had Abby, we thought the world had ended. You know how we were pitiful. We were just pitiful. She's 27 now. She can't walk or talk. She's like an infant. But she loves me all the time. She don't sass me. I don't have to worry about who she's running around with tonight. After 27 years, you know, we made a perfect child.
We learned early that kids were going to say things and people might look at us strange, but that was our family and we had to be proud no matter what.
We had no other expectations other than she was going to go, we were all going to be together. We really didn't do things that didn't require a family.
She sets the tone of our family. She's the center of our family. And, you know, we concentrate a lot more about what we have than what we don't have.
In 2002, Warren and Dee Dee's oldest child, Emily, was on her way back to her dorm at the University of Louisville after spending the day with Abby in Caneyville when she was killed in a car crash in Bullitt County.
We had just sent her off to college. She was ready to tackle the world because of the things I think Warren had instilled in her, and hopefully both of us.
I miss her every day. Wonder what she would be doing, how many of those wonderful grandkids she might have. But, you know, life's not fair, but losing in that situation, again, it makes you refocus. We give them hugs a little harder. We tell each other we love each other, and we mean it too.
He's done his best to overcome it, he and the family. But what I think that's allowed Warren to do, this has allowed Warren to, in many cases, show his empathy and his concern for the youth in this country and for families and for how families work with their children.
For the last 20 years, while continuing to encourage youth development and judge youth livestock shows, Warren has gained an even wider audience. For 17 years in leadership positions in the Agriculture Commissioner's office, and since 2016, leading the governor's office of agriculture policy.
I think in today's agriculture world, you would be hard-pressed to find anybody that is a better advocate and spokesman for Kentucky agriculture. He just is a great ambassador for agriculture. I don't think you can find anybody that's more deserving.
Two of the really great extension agents, mine right here, Hardin County. And we can't do things in agriculture without extension. You understand what I'm telling you? Yeah.
Yeah, some people call me Mr. Agriculture. I've been called a lot worse than that. And I'm actually very proud of it because that's what I know. It's what I eat, sleep, think about, want to learn about.
I think Warren has raised the game in agriculture and agriculture advocacy, like for the family farms, for telling what we do on the farm is good. It's environmentally friendly. It's the right thing. It's humane. Like he preaches it and preaches it and preaches it.
Last year alone, giving 237 speeches about agriculture.
Whatever it takes, if he thinks he's going to help someone. And he's excited about it, and he's tired at the end of the day, but he's ready to get up and go again because he loves it.
I think about all the rural Kentuckians in the world and rural cooperatives and how wonderful and what a service that they offer. I think there's probably people way more deserving than me. I'm very proud to even be considered, and I love Kentucky.
The highest honor bestowed by Kentucky Electric Cooperatives, the 2018 Distinguished Rural Kentuckian, Warren Beeler.